Greetings, Alafia, Sawabona, welcome. My name is Renee Ifagbaye Ishubola Ayalagbegbesina Kimberly Smith. I am the daughter of Maureen and Dr. Richard Smith and Stephen Tyson. I am the granddaughter of Violet and Jacob Chevalier, of Brodell Anderson and Cecil Smith. I am the great-granddaughter of Lucille Benoit and Eddie Benoit. I come to you today and introduce myself in this way because I never stand alone. Those who've come before me, those who are ancient, those who give me the ideas that need to come forth, stand with me at all times. And I also introduce myself that way because when this journey is over, it'll be the pathway for those who come after. So I thank you for joining us and welcome to Be the Medicine, Pathways to Healing and Liberation Through Ancestral Intelligence. Pathways to Healing and Liberation Through Ancestral Intelligence. Yo, yeah, my asesu, yeah, my asesu, yeah, my olodo, yeah, my olodo, yeah, my asesu, yeah, my asesu, yeah, my olodo, yeah, my olodo, oh, mio. Without water, nothing can be purified. Nothing can be authentic. Water allows us to maintain the kind of consciousness that links us to the other world. Baba Maladoma Somme. So when we think about water, we think about this primordial energy that holds memory and consciousness. The ability to understand that the water that exists on this planet Earth at this time also existed at the very beginning of time. That through its ability to adjust and adapt, through its ability to hold memory and consciousness, through its ability to absorb and store vibrations, emotions, and thoughts, water, as a primordial energy, is intelligent. Water is ancient. Water is one of the original OGs. It's the original AI, ancestral intelligence. So one of the things that I wanted us to explore today in thinking about the divinity within is that we have a relationship with water. The same way we have a relationship with plants in this ecosystem, we have a relationship with water. Water on this planet Earth covers 71% of the Earth's surface. 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by water. And when we think about the human body, we are made up of 60% of water. I'm going to say that again. So this is more than half in both of these cases, right? 71% of the Earth's surface is made up of water, and 60% of the human body is made of water. It is amazing to think about. Again, we've talked about it many times on this podcast. When we put ourselves in alignment or in the right position within the ecosystem, we really begin to understand how massive and how intelligent it is, right? That what holds the earth together, basically, because you know that the water that exists on the earth in this 71% is also controlled by the moon, which also helps the planet to stay connected through gravity and stay connected in this ball, right? And so this powerful force also exist within us. And so when we think about the fact that this force outside and inside exists, we need to then start thinking about the divinity that lives within us, right? Our inability for us to tap into or acknowledge that divinity through the simple understanding of our connection to water. We are excited to launch the Divine Collection. The Divine Collection is a unique line of 13 signature flower essence blends designed to connect you to the primordial energies of transformation. Rooted in African spiritual traditions, these essences harness the power of nature to inspire deep personal growth. Each blend is carefully crafted to support key aspects of transformation: truth, focus, remembrance, self-love, divine mother, find your tribe, creativity, and overall healing. By tapping into the energetic wisdom of flowers, the Divine Collection empowers you to align with your highest potential, alchemizing every moment into an opportunity for profound change. Experience the sacred flow of transformation with each essence in this spiritually grounded collection, the Divine Collection. Water is life. Water exists because it is a part of every ritual that exists, right? Birth and death. Rituals that include purification and transformation. Our ability to connect to the divine comes through our ability to understand and do rituals with water. Our everyday activities. We take a shower with water. We drink water. We bathe with water. We cook with water, right? That's one of the reasons why we can't do anything without water, right? It exists as a part of who we are. It also is the place that allows for us to have memory and to have balance. So water is very important to our everyday existence, right? That famous Fela song, Water Can Have No Enemy, because water exists in a way that it requires us to understand it in order for us to survive, in order for us to continue to thrive as humans on the planet, and for us to continue to see our abilities to grow and be right here on the planet. So water is very, very important to us. So as we did in the beginning, I'm now going to ask you to take a minute to think again about water. When someone says the word water, when you hear and close your eyes and think about water, what comes to mind? What words? And when you think about the word divine or divinity, what comes to mind? So we're going to make a connection here. Water is primordial. It is ancient. It is divine. It makes up 71% of the earth and makes up 60% of our bodies. Would it be okay for us to say that we are also divine? That we exist inside of this divinity as we are a part of this primordial energy that exists, that holds together the earth? But what stops us from really understanding how to connect to the divinity within? What is our blockage? What stops our flow from understanding how we can tap in to the divinity within?
Are you ready to create lasting balance in your life? Introducing the Blueprint for Balanced Living, a powerful framework to help you align your life in 5 essential areas: life, love, laughter, labor, listening. We invite you on Sunday, February 2nd at 9 a.m. to join us for our Akoma Self-Love One-Day Challenge. Did you know that Akoma is a West African Adinkra symbol meaning the heart? It represents patience, tolerance, and unconditional love. This free one-day challenge is your opportunity to reconnect to your heart, release self-judgment, and build a foundation of self-love through the Blueprint for Balanced Living framework. You'll experience an opportunity to see how self-love can bring balance and transformation into your life. Reflect on what it means to love yourself unconditionally, and a supportive community to hold space for you and your growth. Akoma invites you to step into love, balance, and patience. Let's start this journey together. Join us on Sunday, February 2nd at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for this free one-day challenge, Akoma Self-Love.
I will say this, we as human beings can only go 3 days maximum without water. We can do a week without food. We could even rough it outside, not in the concrete jungle, but out in the real jungle. But we cannot go 3 days without water. Without water, the body begins a process of shutting down. We start with our own mood. Our mood is the first thing, is the indicator that we're not getting enough water. We become a little irritable. Our joints are doing very strange things. But actual systems in the body, starting with our digestive system, begins to shut down when we have not consumed enough water. So we're going to talk about different areas of our lives that can stop our flow. And this particular space, we want to talk about the idea of dehydration. You can have many different types of dehydration. You can have physical dehydration. You can have mental dehydration. You can have spiritual dehydration. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what those 3 things are and how we can work to ensure that we are hydrated well. So physical dehydration simply just means the body is losing more water than it's taking in. That moment when you're feeling thirsty, right? Not to overdrink, right? If you take in too much water, you can flood the body, and then you're starting to lose essential minerals and electrolytes that you need in order for you to survive and function. But you will know when you're thirsty. You will know when when it's time for you to drink water, right? And so the primary thing about physical dehydration is that we're always trying to keep the body in balance, right? The body needs to be in balance so that everything is getting what it needs. And when it's all getting what it needs, we're functioning at our most optimal space. So the idea that we are functioning at our most optimal space is where we would want to start when we're thinking about physical dehydration. Then we have mental dehydration, right? And so mental dehydration can be this place where our mind starts to experience lack of cognitive and emotional resources. We literally aren't able to connect 1+1, right? We're starting to slow down. We're seeing that our reactions are a little slower. And part of it is because our minds are going through a process where we're becoming dehydrated. The third level is spiritual dehydration. And so this dehydration is important because it's the time when we literally disconnect from our individual spiritual self, right? We're disconnecting from the divine that exists within us. And because of this disconnect, we are having trouble with connecting to ourselves. Have you ever experienced any of these types of dehydration? Take a minute to kind of think about it and think about, how connected am I to the water within me? How connected am I to the divinity within me? How am I experiencing my time here on earth? And is it one that is flowing? Is it one where I am calling the water within and the water without to help me to create my reality? So we know that water is used and revered in many, many cultures, right? And we use it for many, many things, not just to keep the balance of the physical body, but we use it in rituals for cleansing and purification. We use it to heal. Many traditions have water as part of their healing rituals. We use it as, again, a source of life, right? We cannot survive for more than 3 days without water. We use it for transformation and change, right? To understand that water never stays in any state. I say that to say, if it gets too hot, what does it do? It moves from liquid to gas. If it gets too cold, what does it do? It moves from gas to liquid and liquid to solid. So it has that ability to understand and the intelligence to understand. With changing environment comes the ability for us to also change and adapt. But it doesn't mean that we lose the essential of who we are. Because in any of those stages, it is still water. The molecules of water are still the same, H2O, no matter what state it's in. So water has that ability to remind us of the ability to change and to transform, but also to stay the essential of who we are during those times. We are also connected to the divine, as I shared earlier, through water. Water making up 71% of the earth, 60% of our bodies, it being in flow with gravity and the pull of the earth and also the moon in order to keep this huge planet moving. Water is a part of that. Water has this amazing ability to hold memory and consciousness, right? And so it absorbs the vibration of our emotions and our thoughts. It also can hold our intentions. So they talk a lot about, and I've talked about it before, the experiment where the Japanese doctor took water molecules and he spoke positively to some and spoke negatively to others, and watched where the ones that were spoken to positively actually created these beautiful crystals, and the ones that were spoken to negatively or not spoken to at all, no crystals formed, right? And so that was our first evidence that it is a conduit and it has the ability to respond and understand what is being given to it. And so as we talk about the different ways in which water can be used to hold our intentions, to help us to transform, to help us to connect to the divinity within ourselves, we want to go back again to think about what's stopping our flow. What's stopping your flow? What type of dehydration may you be experiencing at this moment in time? And have you taken a moment to think about the answer to this issue with flow as simply drinking water? So how do you deal with physical rehydration? So we're going to start talking about how do we get our bodies back in balance with water? And that process is called rehydration. So how are we rehydrating our physical selves? And we do it simply. You drink water, right? You drink water, and as you drink water, you'll feel better. Get a glass, go ahead, drink some water. And nothing, not with all that other stuff in it, just water. And, it was interesting because I recently was asked a question about water and its connection to neurodiversity. And so one of the things that I shared was part of the issue that we have with neurodiversity is we've grown up in an age where neurodiversity has been seen as lack of. But as we are moving through the age of Aquarius, right, that we're coming back to these quote unquote differences, not as a bad or a lack, but that they're actually maybe ahead of our time. And that we haven't actually figured out they haven't figured out how to integrate or slow down because they're actually ahead of where we need to be, right? And so part of how we can help is by paying attention to what we're also feeding people who are neurodivergent, right? It doesn't help them to feed them liquids that have color dyes that we know already is going to take them off kilter. It doesn't help to give a child who has ADHD, blue or green or red or any of those kind of colors, water or drinks that's going to then raise their sugar levels and also change the consistency of the water that exists within their body. So we have an answer. We have a powerful tool that we could be using to really help bring balance. For me personally, I believe water for everything, right? We start with water first. Many people like to do rituals with fire, but I'm really a water person. Like I believe, you're having issues with energies in your house, put some water at the door. You're having issues where you're not being able to kind of think straight, and we'll talk about it when we talk about mental rehydration. We speak to our water, we drink the water, and as we're doing that, we are now not just speaking to the water and asking it to hold the intention, but we are also taking in that water into our divinity and asking it to balance out what's going on inside. So water, though it seems like a very simple answer, has been the answer for centuries. And our ancestors knew it, which is one of the reasons why we have so many of the ones practicing ancient traditions who are saying water is sacred and water is life. And we have to protect water, right? Because without it, we will not survive. So how do we ensure physical rehydration? We drink water. And we do so with intention, right? It's one thing to just chug-a-lug water but it's another thing to do so intentionally drinking water, intentionally paying attention to when you're taking in your water. They say many times when we break our fast, right? When we go to sleep and we break our fast, not so much eating breakfast, but we break our fast, that it's best for us to take some water at that time, right? Because our bodies have been taking in healing while we're sleeping. It's integrating while we're sleeping. We're waking up. We're healing our bodies. We're healing our minds. We're resting. We're going through, sometimes spiritual transformations while we're resting and sleeping. And so when we break our fast, break our fast, we wake up with water. Not cold water, just water. And imagine what happens to you as you intentionally take that water first thing in the morning. So water is where we start. When we talk about rehydrating the mind, right? Creating rituals and routines around transforming abundance or mindfulness practices that helps us to flow through the day, manage our workloads, any stress, our social interactions, and our self-care. This is where mental rehydration comes in. And one of the things that's really great for mental rehydrations is affirmations around water, right? Water replenishes and restores me. I renew and rejuvenate myself by drinking water. With wisdom, assurance, and ease, I flow into my power. I love water. It seems so simple. I love water. I do not put myself under pressure to grow. I am going to flow at my own pace. Again, water affirmations to really begin to help balance the mind. I'm going to read those again. And if you are feeling a little heavy, this is a great time to go grab a glass of water, take a deep breath, clear your mind, find your breath, and say these affirmations with you. Water replenishes and restores me. I renew and rejuvenate myself by drinking water. With wisdom and assurance and ease, I flow into my power. I love water. I love water. I do not put myself under pressure to grow. I am going to flow at my own pace. I am going to flow at my own pace. Take a moment, take a breath, drink some water. This is the way in which we're able to deal with mental rehydration, right? By creating these affirmations that we speak into existence. The power of our word, the power of our tongue. This then reprograms our mind to understand what we're asking it to do, what we're asking the body to do. Then we have spiritual rehydration, right? So we talked a little bit about the fact that water plays a vital role in spiritual rituals and ceremonies in many ancient traditions, because we believe that water is also the bridge between this world and the spirit world. When we are conceived, we live in water in the womb, right? When we come out, we begin this next phase of our relationship with water. And then when we transition, right, we ensure that there are rituals that ensure that we have the last thing, and with our last breath, that we are ensuring that there is water that exists so that we can connect to the next world. So water exists in every era of our lives. Before we became who we are, while we were here in physical form, and when we transition into the spirit realm. And so because of that, water is also a very powerful tool to use when it is time for us to rehydrate our spirits. And part of that includes doing very simple things, but also doing more complicated things as well. One of the things that I always like to tell folks is that sometimes you just need to go take a shower or go dunk in some water, right? You're feeling kind of icky for the day. You're not sure what's going on. Go ahead and take a shower. But when you're taking your shower, you're taking your bath again. The ability for us to be intentional in that time and in that space, not of just cleansing, but also asking the water to replenish us. Because remember, not only are we stepping into water and we're bathing, but we're using the largest organ of our bodies. We are taking in the water through our skin when we bathe, when we shower. And so as we amplify the water during that showering, that bathing, that cleansing process, it's helping us to move and shake and get rid of and cleanse and purify during that time. So sometimes we just need to go and take a shower. Sometimes we need to go and visit a body of water, a river, a lake, an ocean, and sit and allow that to begin to create opportunities for us to become spiritual rehydrated. We can also pair these things with different baths and different herbs, so creating spiritual bath. that are then activated in water. We can do that with pairing it with other elements like crystals, like herbs, like affirmations, and all of these things become medicine that will allow for us to experience spiritual rehydration. We also can do very specific rituals with water, right? Understanding to set intentions, asking the water to engage with you, and concluding by sharing thanks. Why? Because we said at the beginning, water is a divinity. So the water outside and the water inside needs to find balance. And the way that we do that is by continuing to raise the vibration through acts of gratitude, by saying thank you, not thinking thank you, because thinking thank you is just a thought, but by saying thank you, you then have begun this process of gratitude, but also this reciprocation that exists, that energy that exists, so that we can continue to vibe with that. That water understands, okay, as my daughter, they're going to get this together and they're going to make sure that they're using it. And the more that you use it, the more that it becomes powerful. And it's really because we have disconnected ourselves from the understanding of what it means to be divine beings. In its most simplest form, it's not about the power of being divine or the power of having power over other people. It's about, divinity is about your connectedness to the relationship we have with the earth, with each other, and ourselves. That's where divinity is. That's where power sits. So we want to continue to develop our divinity. We want to continue to talk about the different ways that we can acknowledge the divine that exists within each and every one of us. The element of water reconciles and quiets down that which is trapped in the crisis of combustion. In effect, water cools the burning psyche. Water seeks to cleanse, reconcile, and balance that which is agitated, emotional disorder, or in self-danger. When water succeeds, it restores and enhances life where there was a threat of death. We have to seek water. And when we talk about our healing and we talk about our transformation, we need to seek water, the water within, to find the balance, to acknowledge the divinity. And as we do that, we continue to connect to that primordial energy of water. The elders would say that the salted taste of tears of grief is the cleansing taste of reconciliation, of the desire to reconcile, because water cleanses and washes away the impurities of our failures. My tears say that my soul has heard something from the other world. These wonderful quotes have been given to us by Baba Malidoma Somé. But it reminds us again that we are divine. Yes, say it to yourself. I am divine. So if water is sacred, that means I am sacred. Right? Water is sacred. I am sacred. What do we do when something is sacred? We ensure that we take good care of it so that it will be here for many, many years to come. And so I ask yourself, what is stopping your flow? And what do you need to do to ensure that you can rehydrate and vibrate at your highest level just by connecting with the divinity within, connecting to water?
Thank you for tuning in to Be the Medicine, Pathways to Healing and Liberation through Ancestral Intelligence. The sounds and engineering of this podcast was made possible by Embody Ashe Productions.